In this video, we will discuss the distributed software architecture that RTBrick Full Stack, shortly RBFS, employs. Before we actually get into this, let us brief about how legacy software architectures have been designed. There are different software architectures employed in various software products, especially the ones that get deployed on service provider segments, enterprise, subscriber management, and so on. Fundamentally, they are designed to operate with several unified subsystems, each of them addressing a specific functional offering of the software product. In such a product, typical subsystems would generally include a routing manager or a routing daemon, label manager, forwarding subsystem, access subsystem, configuration manager, and so on. A routing daemon could be running several protocols such as OSPF, ISIS, BGP under itself. An obvious disadvantage with this kind of design is that it puts a lot of burden on a single daemon, especially when there is a high scale in place. This affects route convergence as the packet processing happens in a sequential manner. As the scale gets higher and higher, the routing subsystem will have to carry out a lot of IO operations, route calculation, route selection, and these are very costly operations. When the system is under heavy load, it could become fatal for the system and it might result in routing daemon or any other daemon crashing. This affects the complete functioning of the device. Given this problem statement, how can a software architecture deal with such issues? This is what RBFS is all about. It becomes special in the sense that it supports distributed software architecture. When we say distributed software architecture, we must understand what exactly gets distributed and how it gets distributed. If the routing functionalities can be distributed to different daemons in such a way that OSPF, ISIS, BGP, LDP, each of them runs under a different daemon, referred to as brick daemon or simply BDs. To understand how exactly these functions get distributed, let us go one level further down by taking BGP as an example. BGP's functions are separated into two daemons. The first one is BGP IOD, the BGP IO daemon. This takes care of the IO operations such as establishing the peering, receiving various BGP messages, and advertising the routes to its peers. And there is another BGP daemon, which is BGP application daemon, or shortly BGP AppD. This processes the routes and performs the best route selection. For BGP IOD, the number of peers that it can efficiently deal with is a scale aspect. Our architecture supports multiple IODs that can deal with a specific set of peers when the number of peers goes high. In the same way, for AppD, the number of routes it can efficiently deal with becomes a key aspect. Hence, AppDs can be divided to deal with a specific VRF instance or an address family under the VRF instance, or even the set of prefixes belonging to an address family under a VRF. Separating IODs and AppDs to deal with a list of peers and a set of routes, we are able to efficiently load share the IO, route calculation, route advertisement related tasks to different brick daemons, and this in turn results in achieving a very high scale and good convergence. Let us have a demo on how our daemons are put into work and how this load sharing of several functionalities is done and how it is getting assigned to different BDs. Let us take a simple topology with two routers R1 and R2. On both R1 and R2 we have only one IOD deployed, whereas on R2 we have multiple AppDs deployed. On R1 there is a single AppD which is running. Generally, IODs take care of establishing the peering, sending across various control messages, whereas AppD takes care of processing the routes received from the other end and selecting the best routes among them. We can also notice that we have the following addressing schemes as presented in this slide. How do we basically assign different address families to different brick daemons? We have a command set daemon options that can be used to associate different address families to various brick daemons. In our case, there are 4 different address families. Each of these address families are dedicated to different BGP AppD. Let us go to the setup. We are currently on R1. As you can see here, there is only one IOD. There is a single AppD which is running on R1, whereas on R2 we have multiple AppDs deployed. AppD 1, 2, 3, 4. Now As discussed earlier, we have these address families assigned to different ABDs. IPv4 unicast to ABD1, IPv4 LU to ABD2, IPv6 unicast to ABD3, IPv6 label unicast ABD4. The peering is already established between R1 and R2, and these are the various address families that are negotiated between R1 and R2. As you can see here, under ABD1 there is a table IPv4 unicast. Under ABD2 there is IPv4 label unicast. Remember, this is how we actually performed the daemon assignment to different address families. Also for BGP ABD3 we have IPv6 unicast, and BGP ABD4 takes care of IPv6 label unicast. Also, it can be noticed here that there are 4 different ABDs that are currently running under R2. In RBFS, we have various functionalities distributed across different brick daemons. This provides an added advantage. Whenever there is a bug, the bug fix can be provided as a package, and this package can be directly installed on the box. In order to demonstrate this, we have induced a bug with BGP. Whenever there is an IPv6 unicast route with community attribute received on R2, the BGP ABD corresponding to IPv6 unicast is expected to crash. In our case, BGP ABD3 is actually dedicated with IPv6 unicast address family. As we discussed earlier, the BD mapping has been done in such a way that BGP ABD3 will be processing all the IPv6 unicast related routes. Now let us have a look at the package that we currently have in place. This package with suffix 0E8A is the current package, and let us demonstrate how the bug actually happens. On R1 we have an IPv6 unicast route which is 20:20/128, and we are going to add this route, and then we are going to redistribute the static route into BGP. So once we do this, the static route has been added, and also the static route has been redistributed into BGP. Now if you go back to R2, earlier there were 4 different BGP ABD daemons which were seen. Now after adding this route, let us see whether this BGP ABD3 dedicated for IPv6 unicast is currently present. As you can see here, there is no BGP ABD3 anymore because it has crashed. Now this crash can be fixed, and the bug fix can be provided as a package. Earlier we had this package with suffix 0E8A, which is package A. Now we have fixed that bug, and there is another package which is package B, which is available for use. It is suffixing with EC72. Let us install this package B on R2. It is successfully installed. Since we have successfully upgraded to package B for BGP on R2, let us go back to our setup and see if this bug is actually fixed. We have to first check the status of BGP ABD3, which was crashing earlier. BGP ABD3 basically deals with IPv6 unicast routes. Earlier it was not able to handle the IPv6 unicast route with community. Now since the bug is fixed, it should be able to handle the same route. Let us do the operation. On R1, the same static route is still available, and after adding that static route, we will redistribute it into BGP. Let us execute this. Now the route has been added and it has been successfully redistributed into BGP. Please note that earlier for IPv6 unicast the received count is 2. Now I think it should be 3. Let us check that. As you can see here, IPv6 unicast, the received number of routes is 3. So our package has got updated successfully, and now we are able to receive the IPv6 unicast routes with community. Let us check that route. As you can see here, the route is now available. To sum it up finally, when the functionalities get distributed to various daemons. They are put up with their own specific tasks. Packets can be processed parallelly by various daemons as compared to the sequential packet processing by a single daemon approach. We have faster convergence in place, and the most important thing, we are able to achieve very high scale. Thank you.